Hi, I'm Eric Judy.
And I'm Dick Van Dyke. Today we want to talk about annuities, and we want to get all the hype out of the way, Eric.
The hype? There's hype in annuities? Oh my gosh.
Well, this was inspired by Richard out in Massachusetts, one of our, folks that had used the website, and we had given him a referral. And he sent in a question that basically said, I've been looking at different blogs on the on the internet,
right.
and they've talked about the return, and that the annualized return doesn't seem to be that high, and that's true, isn't it?
Well, and this is where people have the challenge when they first start looking at annuities. They're coming from a world where they've been focused on
Right.
accumulation.
Right.
When we look at the mutual fund industry, everybody talks about,
Sure.
I did this return 20%, 30%. Oh, I beat the S&P.
Right.
That's the accumulation world. The focus there is on numbers,
exactly.
the return I'm getting.
Right.
That's
Is there a little hype in that world?
Oh, there's a lot of hype. Glossy pages with the charts that go like this. Oh my gosh.
And we can look at Dalbar studies that talk about the individual investor and what they actually do earn.
Right.
And it's down in below 5%, considerably below 5%. So
yeah, but it's
all over
focus.
the board.
But
You're
most
right.
people, they've been conditioned to focus on the return.
Of accumulating money. Right.
I'm making this much. I'm
Right.
making this
Right.
much. I'm getting this much. That's not what an annuity is about. It's
Right.
not about taking and trying to grow the asset as much
Right.
as preserve it, because you've already done the saving part.
You've already done the work. You've built the nest egg.
What's the goal of saving?
Right.
It's future spending. It's saving is
Right.
really in this case future spending.
So would it be fair, Eric, to say that an annuity is more about security and cash flow?
Yes. Yes, it would. I would say that'd be fair. Yeah.
So if we were to boil down and just get rid of all the hype, and when I say hype, I mean some of this, the way it's presented,
Right.
it may not really be hype, but it does sound good.
Yeah.
And we talk about 7% roll-ups on the income account,
Yeah.
and 8%, and we talk about 5% payouts and 6% payouts. But if we really got down to the life expectancy and drawing the income off of an annuity, well, first of all, let's just talk about an immediate annuity. What would the real internal rate of return be on an immediate annuity overall?
1-2%. I mean,
Max.
Yeah,
1 to 2%.
In my thing with when we start talking about annuities and we're doing it now, talking about rate of return.
Right.
First question I have to ask you is, when are you going to die? And then I'll tell you what your return is going to be.
Exactly. And the insurance company actually has this figured out statistically, and they know that overall your rate of return on this annuity, in the statistical generalized averaged sense, is going to be in the neighborhood of a couple of percent on an immediate annuity. And right now, with today's rates, even a little less than that. So, yet billions and billions of dollars of immediate annuities are sold.
Yep.
Why do people do that with such a
safety, security, cash flow? We're going to repeat ourselves a lot here, but
Right.
If you're going to be focused on return, don't go here.
Exactly. And I know we both got a lot to say here, but one thing that comes to my mind is all of the sure bet things that are out there in the investment world, things that you're told you cannot lose, such as Enron, Lehman Brothers. What's some others?
GM was always, I grew up in a world where they
Right.
say, buy GM stock and you never have to worry.
Right. Right. Enron.
Yeah.
Madoff.
Yeah.
So these are things that all look good, but those are all followed by this caveat: past performance is no indicator of future results, and we tend to gloss over that and say, "Oh, they just say that," but that's there for a reason.
Right. And it's a risk-reward aspect.
Right.
You're chasing the reward there by
Right.
willing to accept some of that risk.
Right.
What we talk about when we look at annuities, we want to take that risk
Right.
and diminish it significantly so that you have that safety, you have that guarantee.
Yes.
And that's what we're focused on with annuities.
And that's not for all of a
Not all of your
client's
money.
money. That's right.
That's right.
Right.
Asset allocation, spreading the baskets out.
It's a further diversification, another layer of protection and safety.
Yes, completely.
And now if we get into the very popular indexed or hybrid annuity, and we get past there's a lot of things to talk about in terms of that income roll up and how it gets your income up to a certain level by a certain age, which would not be guaranteed if you were in the market. You maybe couldn't take that big of an income without depleting your principal much faster. So there is that aspect. But if we just talked about the overall rate of return of that hybrid annuity, we took it, like some of these guys do, and they're very good at their math and their spreadsheets, and they spread it out and they show that you start a guy out at 60 years old and you defer him for 5 years or 10 years with this 7% roll up. You turn it on, he lives to age 90. What's his return going to be?
2, 3, 4, 5% perhaps.
Well, that would be
that'd be on the
real high end,
and
right?
It depends
but
on when you start.
Yeah, 2% on the low, and maybe, like you say, 4 to 5 on the extreme high, but more like 2 to 3% would be like the max.
And
as a rule.
And part of what we're looking at is we're looking at pieces in today's environment.
Yes,
caps right now
yes.
are structured around what today's caps are.
Right.
So when we're looking at things, we like to use today's numbers. Now, we expect caps will increase in the future.
Yes.
Can we guarantee it? No.
No.
And that's when we work with annuities, we really like to talk about guarantees.
Right.
Because if you're satisfied with the guarantee,
Yeah, that's
then anything
right.
above and beyond is good.
That's right. That's right.
And the same thing is true on the indexing side of these components. Look at what the guarantee is. That indexing component offers a little bit of a bump, but focus on the guarantee.
Right. Well, folks, I think that for today's topic, we want to thank Richard. Thank you, Richard, for that good question. And Eric and I added something at the first of the year that you may not have seen on the blog site. So when you're through with this, if you'd like, you can actually ask us a question.
That's right. So we've put it out there in a couple different spots. So we encourage you to give us as we come up with topics. Sometimes it's nice to know what you want to actually hear about. So.
Right. So we tried to dispel the hype here, get down to what the real rate of return is, and then talk about also the real reason that you do an annuity and choose an annuity.
So no hype, just answers.
Thank you.
Have a great day.